Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today we have a new game here that I have never played this game, so I will try to talk English. It's not my first language, so Northern Quebec, October. It can be very low here. I'm working as a private investor in Montreal. William Hamilton, a rich industrialist, had got in touch. Yeah, I think the sound is a little bit low here. Let's see. It can be better now.
They had set up to meet at the general store, his client's business. Well, actually, the entire village had William Hamilton's name written all over it.
I think it's better now.
When the roads were bad, muddy, or snowed in, it was customary around these parts to close them off. But it was also customary to ignore those signs entirely and drive there anyway.
Let's stop. See. It will be good. Tab. Nothing more here. No.
Hamilton never mentioned a road blocking barrier. Why was it needed here in the back of Beyond? That would, however, be a mystery for another day. Carl had waited long enough for someone to come and raise it. Still not a soul in sight. There was no point in waiting any longer. Carl had to figure this one out by himself.
Okay, so I need a key here. There is something here. Empty bottle. This may be something here. Nothing more I can take here? No. What's it say here?
Carl was meeting his client in a store near this area. He was on the right track. Hamilton is waiting for Carl in the general store. It was time for him to get down to business. William Hamilton enjoyed a lavish country house built in the very heart of the northern forests, not too far from here. The local populace was divided when it came to the affluent man. Some saw a wealthy philanthropist dedicated to improving the region's economy. Others an aging Englishman who would do anything to further his fortunes. And those ones hated him enough to go on about scheming against him. Hamilton had recently acquired a few local businesses, but the last straw was the reopening of a mine, which gave rise to a wave of protests and threats from the Cree people. Given these circumstances, Carl reckoned that a good number of people must be feeling compelled to oppose Hamilton in one way or another. So far, only the industrialist's house had been a target, but soon enough, Carl thought, the target would become the man himself.
What was that? A few hours later.
Carl needed to get out of there. The cold and the pain required urgent care.
We was in the car for a few hours then. Kona. Or whatever you say it, I don't know. So we drive this car.
The driver had taken off. It was still best to check it out and leave nothing to chance. Carl needed help. It was a small, locked box engraved with the letters W.H. Carl thought about taking it. Nothing was to be left to chance.
First aid kit.
This deep in the country, his last hope was to find an abandoned garage or a farm by the roadside. His life depended on it.
Self-autonomy pick.
Scratches did not stop Carl. His mother would be so proud. Even better than he had hoped. Carl Faubert had succeeded once more, and was now on his way to new adventures.
Nothing more here I can take? No, I guess not.
It was so cold. Already Carl did not feel his toes anymore. A fire can't be started with a snap of the fingers.
I thought... Nothing here, I guess. Saving.
A fire can't be started with a snap of the fingers.
There's nothing here. Seems like I need to go here at least. Don't know what to do here really. I'll check here once more. No. Nothing here. Can I go over here? No. Seems like I can do not so much more here, I guess. No. I can go over here. No. Here. There's something in here, back here then, again. Don't know if I need to wait. Okay, so how do I just that? Equipment. Consume. Can I do that now? Then. Yes, I can. So I could. This is a bit weird here.
Spread out on a few acres of untouched forest, bellowing caribou, everlasting snow, and undefiled lakes. The Manistan region was no tourist hub. It was said to have been populated for millennia by Cree people, and ever since the industrial era, by the metal mining industry. The truck was running on fumes. Good thing that the general store was close by.
General store.
The pumps wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside the store. something fell to the bottom of the box.
Oh shit.
Carl had no trouble recognizing his employer. He had been killed. There was no need to be a detective to figure that out. But only a detective could have noticed that the killer had to have been very close, that the fatal blow had been given before the victim even realized.
Shit.
An explosion suddenly occurred outside. The snowstorm pummeled everything in its path. Carl was not surprised when he heard no tone. Carl knew that Gilles Lachance was in charge of the general store. That made him one of Hamilton's employees. A very angry employee, as Carl could plainly see. The milkman had to drive by every week to fill the bottles. The fresh milk indicated a recent visit. The pumps wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside the store.
It's very dark here. It's very dark here.
The pumps wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside the store. Maintaining his composure, Carl recalled something from his military training. Wolves always stay away from populated areas. Wait, was it about bears?
Okay. It need to be this.
The pumps wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside the store.
I guess, but I don't know where.
explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time.
Okay, so
The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time.
so then it should be working now.
A radiator without power is as good as a wood stove without logs. The pumps wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside the store.
It's on, yes, or is it? Because it's right now, I guess. Magazine store, garage. We are testing once again.
The pumps wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside
I
the
don't
store.
understand this.
The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time.
Seems like it's on at least. It should be from the generator. No, it's both off. No. Do that. Okay, magazine. It's not off on me. I need to install this somehow. Then it's me that way. Testing once again.
According to that log, it seemed like the whole village owed some money to the general store. Carl was far more interested in the bunch of nearby addresses he had just gotten his hands on, though.
Garage key. That is the garage. I think I need to go in here somehow.
Carl was no electrician, but he could identify a wiring problem when he saw one.
So, that's the way I like it. So, that's the way I like it. So, now it's the right thing here. Oh, that is on. It was some time to resolve to fix this.
Carl knew straight away where to find the infuriated Gilles Lachance. Any good investigation would have to start there.
Okay, it's a map where I am now.
It was a typical shack, just like the ones you hear about in Quebecois legends. Local lumberjacks used it to rest and twice a day eat up their pea soup. Who quits a game one step away from victory?
Someone